Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Building Your Custom Home for Dummies, 2nd edition, by Kevin Dahm, Janice Brewster Weiser, Peter Economy, and Anne Mary Ciminelli. Narrated by Mike Chamberlain. Publisher's Note: in this audio edition, you will hear references to visual elements present in the print and e-book formats of the book. Limit of liability, disclaimer of warranty. While the publisher and author have used their best efforts in preparing this book, they make no representations or warranties with respect to the accuracy or completeness of the contents of this book, and specifically disclaim any implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. No warranty may be created or extended by sales representatives or written sales materials. The advice and strategies contained herein may not be suitable for your situation. You should consult with a professional where appropriate. Neither the publisher nor the author shall be liable for damages arising herefrom. Introduction. As you read this book, you most likely have the seed of a dream taking root in your mind. Your current home isn't all it could be. You've been daydreaming about a different place, one with more land, one by the water, or one with a gourmet kitchen. You've trolled the open houses in your area, but none of the homes really lights your fire or seems to fit your lifestyle or your family. You want something that feels more like you. The only way to get a perfect house fit is to design it specifically for you. Whether your new home is a month away from completion or 10 years down the road, you need this book. In our work, we've seen plenty of people like you tackle the process of building a custom home. For some, the process is challenging but enjoyable. For others, a custom home project becomes a nightmare that leaves them short on cash and long on anxiety. We understand the process and what it takes to move through it with as little stress as possible. In this book, we provide you with the very best advice our many years of experience have to offer. No matter if your dream consists of a simple $250,000 house in the Midwest or a multi-million-dollar mansion in California, building your custom home for dummies is for you. This book can help you turn your dream of a custom home into reality without losing your shirt or your sanity. With this book, and some hard work and perseverance on your part, your dream of building, owning, and living in your very own custom home can come true. About this book. Thousands of parts and hundreds of tasks go into a custom home project. This book doesn't tell you how to install a toilet or hang a door. Other For Dummies books cover those topics in detail. But it does tell you everything you need to know about building a custom home from scratch. Where do you start? Who is responsible for what? How much will it all cost? These questions, and hundreds more, are what this book answers, and all in an easy-to-use reference that you can take with you anywhere. The great thing about this book is that you decide where to start and what to read. It's a reference you can jump into and out of at will. Foolish Assumptions. We wrote this book with some thoughts about you in mind. Here's what we assume about you, our reader. You've been sketching your custom home on napkins or doodling floor plans during business meetings. You've looked at your current home with a critical eye and have, at least once, sighed and muttered, "Someday." You're drawn to home improvement stores, television shows, and books. You're desperately looking for a comprehensive guide that demystifies the home building process by focusing on the information important for you, the homeowner, to know. You're willing to do some soul-searching in order to get your custom home right. You, and any significant others you may have decided that the only way to get the perfect home is to start from scratch. You don't live in a money-is-no-object world. You want to make educated financial decisions regarding the budget and long-term financing of your custom home. You want to be involved with the process, but you'll rely on professionals to help you when you need it. Professional help may come in the form of a financial advisor or loan officer, an architect or designer, a plumber, or a landscaper. You're willing to assess your strengths and weaknesses and seek help when necessary. You'll hire a contractor in some capacity. We provide some small tidbits of information if you want to be your own owner-builder, but the majority of this book focuses on building a custom home with a contractor. You have the ability to keep an open mind and consider new approaches and information, even when they seem at odds with what you've always been told about the custom home and financing processes. Icons used in this book. To make this book easier to read and simpler to use, we include some icons which are verbalized in this audiobook that can help you find and fathom key ideas and information. The tip icon highlights expert advice that will help you save time and money in the home building process. The remember icon highlights important information to store in your brain for quick recall at a later time. Avoid mistakes by following the sage words of advice that appear next to the warning icon. Although the information marked by the technical stuff icon may be fascinating, it's not critical to understanding the topic at hand. Feel free to skip it if you're short on time. Beyond the book. In addition to the book, you can access some helpful extra content online. Check out the free cheat sheet for tips on finding the right contractor, design elements to consider, and more by going to dummies.com and entering Building Your Custom Home for Dummies in the search box. Where to go from here? The process of building a custom home isn't linear. Not everyone starts with the purchase of a piece of land, for instance. Some people go to an architect first to help them create a floor plan. Others may jump right in with both feet and be halfway through construction before they realize they need to borrow money in order to finish. So, to reflect the non-linear process of building a custom home, this book is decidedly non-linear as well. We organize it so that you can dip in wherever you want and still find all the information you need. If you've already bought land and met with an architect, but you don't know how you're going to pay for the project, for instance, go to Chapter 8 to read up on financing. Not clear who does what on the job site? Flip to Chapter 7 for information on general contractors and subcontractors. If you're not sure where to go first, you may want to start with Part 1. It gives you all the basic information you need to understand the process of building a custom home. From there, you can skip to the chapters that cover the subjects that seem most fuzzy to you now. Rest assured that when you've read those chapters, you'll have a better grip on the home building reality. 1. Getting started with custom home building. In this part, find a general overview of the custom home building process. Get and stay organized. Acquire the right piece of land and pay for it. Decide on the type and style of home you want. Chapter 1. The custom home process in a nutshell. In this chapter, getting ready for the custom home process, considering the finances, understanding all the steps and time involved, deciding whether to be your own contractor. Many people, at some time in their lives, want to own a custom home. Some people are attracted to the thought of designing and creating something big from scratch. Others want to live in a new home that meets their specific needs instead of a house that looks like every other home on the block. Some people begin the custom home process by accident when they find a piece of land that inspires them. According to the National Association of Home Builders, more than 20% of new homes in the United States are custom homes. That means that more than 175,000 custom homes are built every year. For each person building a custom home, several people are in the process of designing one. So, you're in excellent company with many people dreaming about moving into a home designed and built just for them. Custom homes are popular, so tons of resources are available to help you through the process. But, like Rome, your new home won't be built in a day. The custom home process is lengthy, emotional, and expensive, without much consistency to it. Face it, custom homes require custom work, and plenty of it. This work makes building a custom home challenging, and yet that extra work is what makes your project unique to you. You may feel overwhelmed at times, but by trusting in the experience of the professionals you engage in your project and keeping this invaluable book by your side, you can have a manageable project that delivers the custom home you've been dreaming of. Where do you start? Preparing to build your home. Believe it or not, the custom home process really has no standard starting place. There are some logical entry points, such as finding land, but most often people start with a designed house they've had in mind for a long time. Where you start isn't important. What is important is for you to make sure that you've taken all the necessary steps to give yourself the best chance for success. The following list includes some questions you need to consider before committing time and money to this project. Where do I want to live? How long do I want to live in this house? How will I find land? See Chapter 3. How much money do I have to spend on this project? See Chapters 8, 9, and 10. How much extra time do I have to put into this project? See Chapter 2. How do I find the right resources to design my house? See Chapter 4. How do I find the right resources to build my house? See Chapters 2 and 7. Is my relationship strong enough to survive this process? See your therapist. Don't make the assumption that any one person can give you all the information you need to prepare for this process. Contractors have one perspective on the process, and architects may have a completely different one. Do your homework and interview as many people as you can who have been involved in the process. By talking to professionals and consumers and asking them to share their experiences, you can begin to get a clearer picture of the process ahead. Tip: Kevin recommends to all his clients that they get organized before beginning the process. Sit down and assess how much time you can put aside each week to focus on the project. Consider making a specific day each week your day for working on custom home stuff. Also, clear a space in your office or den to be Custom Home Central. This way you always know where to find what you need for your project. You can find other organizing tips for your project in Chapter 2. Money makes the world go round. Paying for your home. We talk a lot about money in this book, and with good reason. Custom homes require plenty of it. Your new home will probably be the most expensive item you've ever purchased. In fact, it may be the most expensive item you'll ever buy in your entire life. Custom homes cost more than production or tract homes because the materials aren't bought in quantities, and the labor hired includes individual craftspeople. The results are worth it, however, and will last lifetimes. Many people find it a challenge to get past the large checks they're writing. If you decide to use an architect, even the first check to the architect will probably exceed the biggest check you've ever written. The key to success with money in a custom home project is putting it in the right perspective. If your budget is $500,000, then what each piece costs isn't important, as long as all the pieces combined total $500,000 or less. Remember, when you buy a new car, you don't argue over how much you spent for the alternator or the exhaust system. You look for the car to meet the price of your overall budget. Use the same logic when buying your custom home. Look for the best price on each item, but look at it in perspective to the entire budget. You'll do better on some items and worse on others, but as long as it fits your finances, you're in good shape. Asking yourself about affordability. Of course, you've heard horror stories about custom home projects that have gone seriously over budget. They go over budget for many reasons, but usually the main culprit is that the homeowners didn't spend enough time determining what they can afford. Obviously, if you're building well below your means, going over budget is easily rectified by using your own cash. But running out of money is the #1 cause of custom home disasters. Before you start the custom home process, you seriously need to consider the following. What can you physically pay? Take stock of your cash on hand, equity in real estate, and available cash from other resources. Make a firm decision on how much money you're willing to put toward the project. Chapter 8 can be a big help. You also need to get a rough idea of how much borrowing power you have to help establish a limit for your budget when added to your available cash. Make sure you consult with a financial advisor. We provide tools and Kevin's expert financing assessments in chapters 9 and 10. What can you emotionally pay? Just because you have the money and the borrowing power doesn't mean you really want to spend it all. Think carefully and discuss with your spouse what your limits are for making payments and how much liquidity, cash you need in the bank to help you sleep at night when all is said and done. Make sure you take into account tax deductions and interest earned on investments when analyzing your monthly cash flow. After you've found your emotional limit, you can design your project to fit your comfort zone. What's your cushion and tolerance for risk? As we say again and again throughout this book, building a custom home is a complex process. You need to consider many variables beyond your control and then realize that the project can go over budget even if you do everything right. You can certainly get good, solid estimates, but ultimately you won't know what this home will cost until it's finished and you total up the receipts. Make sure you've addressed the what-if issues thoroughly. Talk about how you'll cover things financially if the market turns sour, devaluing your property, or the costs of materials rise. Decide what safety money, such as your retirement fund, you're willing or unwilling to tap into. Remember, the more you talk about financial issues related to your custom home project, the more likely you are to resolve problems before they happen. Optimism in a custom home project can get you into trouble every time. The best approach is to examine every possible risk and make contingency plans for every potential problem. Them that has the gold makes the rules. If you finance, the bank will dictate process. Most people don't have all the money for a custom home sitting in their bank accounts. Even if they did, putting it all into the project wouldn't be a good idea, as we explain in Chapter 8. Like it or not, you'll probably have a financial partner in this project in the form of a construction lender or bank. The good news is, construction lenders have the same objectives you do. They want to make loans for custom home projects. That's how they make money. They want the house to be completed on time. They want the house to be completed on budget. They want the house to be completed in a workmanlike manner. Furthermore, the following tidbits can save you some arguments and frustrations when working with construction lenders. They don't believe a house is worth exactly what it costs. A larger loan makes you a risky borrower, not a better customer. You aren't entitled to any loan. They aren't required by law to loan you any money. They dictate how the money is handled throughout the process. Accept the fact that if you want to use a lender's money, you have to play by their rules. Most of these rules weren't made arbitrarily. They're designed to protect the financial viability of the project and protect the lender in the unlikely event of a foreclosure, which is the act of taking back the home in case you default on the payments or the construction contract. The banks don't want to foreclose on your home. They're not in the house selling business. Worst of all, they don't want to foreclose on an unfinished construction project, when the property is neither an empty lot nor a finished home, but something in the dreaded middle. The guidelines and procedures are based upon statistical and anecdotal problems and failures that occurred with the lender in the past. Unfortunately, sometimes you pay for the sins of those who've gone before you. Tip: put yourself in the lender's shoes. If you were loaning a friend 80% of the money to build his home, you'd want a few protections in place and a little control over the money as well, right? If you get to know how lenders see the project, which we explain in detail in chapters 9 and 10, You can easily navigate the approval process as well as the funding process. See Chapter 11. This approach can make for a smoother, happier custom home project. Introducing the custom home life cycle. The first step to beginning the process is looking at all the pieces and how they go together. Your new home has a number of individual projects and transactions necessary to complete it. Your new home also needs an army of people with their expert work and services. This section breaks down in an approximate order each person required to get through the process. Then we outline each step necessary to go from land to landscaping. It takes more than two to tango. A quick guide to the players. The following list is a guide to all the individual players involved in the custom home process. You may or may not use them all. Their roles can vary depending on your region and your project scope. The order of need may also change depending on where you start in your process. Financial planner and/or certified public accountant, CPA. If possible, start the custom home process by carefully assessing your finances. A financial planner or CPA can help make sure you can afford this project. Loan officer. Your loan officer needs to be involved early and throughout the entire process. You may need to start with a refinance or credit line to get liquid. See Chapter 8. You want to finance the land, see Chapter 3, and do it consistent with the construction financing, see Chapters 9 and 10. Your loan officer can help you through these steps. Lucky for you, Chapter 9 also has good advice on picking the right loan officer. Real estate agent. You may need a real estate agent to help you find and purchase a lot, as we discuss in Chapter 3. They also play a role when it's time to sell your existing home. Developer or landowner. The land you buy has to come from somewhere. If you're buying in a subdivision from a developer, you may deal with a sales office, or you may end up buying from a landowner who has had the property for generations. Escrow officer or attorney. Your state determines who administers the closing of your escrow. But either way, this person makes sure the title papers and insurance are all ready for you to take ownership. Architect and/or designer. Architects and designers design and draft plans for the house. Architects are licensed. They'll coordinate technical specifications for the house that may be beyond the scope of a designer. The architect can also guide you through the permitting process. Chapter 5 can help you decide if you need an architect, and Chapter 6 provides the ins and outs of the permitting process. Log or timber frame dealer. If you're building a kit home, see Chapter 4, you'll work with your dealer for the design process, as well as the purchase of your materials package. Contractor, builder. You need to decide whether you need this person, or if you'll rely on yourself to drive the construction of your new home. See the Being an Owner-Builder, More Power to You section later in this chapter if you may want to be your own owner-builder. We give you tools for working with your contractor in Chapter 7. Surveyor. This person makes sure you know where your land begins and ends, a necessity for designing a house. Soils engineer. In many states, such as California, your foundation depends upon the report issued by this person. Well, septic engineer. If you're building in a rural area, you need this person to design and certify your water and sewage systems. Planning department. Your house needs to meet your neighborhood's zoning requirements before you get permits. This department enforces the zoning. See Chapter 6. Design Review Committee. You can't always build what you want. This committee dictates what it wants to see in your design. See Chapter 6. Building Department. Everything must meet code, and this department checks your plans before issuing permits. See Chapter 6. Appraiser. The lender won't approve a construction loan without an appraisal estimating the finished value. See Chapter 10. Insurance agent. Chapter 2 spells out all the insurance you need for the project. This person provides the goods. They'll be busy. Materials suppliers. Sticks and stones all have to come from somewhere. Some projects have many sources. See Chapter 7. Subcontractors. Each one is an expert. Just ask them. Artisans and craftspeople build each different system in your house. Chapter 7 tells you how to work with them. Chapters 12, 13, and 14 explain what they do. Laborers. Somebody has to do the grunt work on the job. These people work the hardest and get paid the least. Building inspectors. The building department checks up at various stages of construction to see that you're building in line with regulations. See Chapter 7. Disbursement agents. The lender assigns someone to make sure you get money when you need it, or to solve problems with getting money from the lender. You can find more on these agents in Chapter 11. Bank inspectors. The bank won't give you money unless work has been done. These people come out to the property monthly or at various stages to make sure the work is complete. See Chapter 7. Landscaper. Usually the last part to go in, but sometimes the landscaper designs the landscaping at the beginning. This person makes the yard green with your green. Chapter 16 has more info. Mover. After all this work and trouble, the last thing you want to do is make 20 trips with the minivan. Let the movers do the work for you. Chapter 15 has specifics. Decorator. If you have any money left at the end, you'll have plenty of furnishings to spend it on. An interior decorator can help. Although your architect or contractor may manage some of these relationships, ultimately you'll need to coordinate all these people in order to complete the project. You'll meet many new people in this process, so put on your best smile and get ready to shake a lot of hands. So many tasks, so little time. 50 steps to a custom home. You're probably wondering why the custom home process has so many people involved. The simple answer? The custom home process has tons of tasks that need to be done. Although each home building process may have some variation in these stages based upon factors such as location and weather, for the most part, the process moves in a step-by-step fashion. The following list shows how a typical custom home process moves forward. The chapter references direct you to detailed discussions later in the book. 1. Decide you're ready to tackle the custom home process. See Chapter 2. 2. Meet with financial experts, including loan officers, and get organized. See Chapter 2. 3. Prepare cash flow with financing on your existing house. See Chapter 2. 4. Find land and make an offer. See Chapter 3. 5. Obtain land financing. See Chapter 3. 6. Close escrow on the lot. See Chapter 3. 7. Get surveys and soil reports. See Chapter 3. 8. Get well and septic approvals if required. See Chapter 6. 9. Interview and pick an architect if applicable. See Chapter 5. 10. Create the house's preliminary design. See Chapter 5. 11. Get zoning and design review approval. See Chapter 6. 12. Pick all your fixtures and materials. See Chapter 5. 13. Submit the plans for building approval. See Chapter 6. 14. Make the required plan changes. See Chapter 5. 15. Put the plans out to bid with contractors. See Chapter 2. 16. Interview and choose a contractor. See Chapters 2 and 7. 17. Apply for a construction loan. See Chapters 9 and 10. 18. Get an appraisal based on future value. See Chapter 10. 19. Get final approval for permits and pay fees. See Chapter 6. 20. Close escrow on the construction loan. See Chapter 9. 21. Set up a disbursement account. See Chapter 11. 22. Set up communications with the contractor and
Sample complete. Ready to continue?